Here's just a quick tip. When you're putting these pieces together here, the two inner fenders, they don't really want to stay in place. It's a little, the headers put pressure on them a little bit and want to force them out. So I cut this piece of sprue to the right length and then put it in there to hold these two where they belong. And then this holds the front, and then these hold the rear. This keeps these from pulling in, which is what wants to happen with the way it's made. And I didn't put the carburetors or anything on it yet, so if you get to this point and you're having trouble trying to hold all these things at one time, I glued in the firewall first and let that dry overnight. So that's pretty much like a rock as far as being in place. So now I just added these three pieces. Using this piece of sprue will help hold it in place while it dries. This is just a short video just to show the interior. The basic color, like the floor and everything, was painted with Polyurethane Red, which is a Tamiya color. It's mainly made for the bottom of ships, so it's a really dark red. It almost looks like primer, but it's a dark red. The rest of it was painted with an automotive paint, which was also a dark red. And then I hit it with a little bit of Tamiya clear, so the seats are a little more shinier than I would like, but I'm going to just leave it. But it's a pretty well detailed interior. So you got the gauges up here for the dash. There was a horn ring in the steering wheel. I took that out, figuring this is the race car. I don't know why they would need that. There's no alternative steering wheel for the kit. There's just the stock steering wheel. Now the door panels, you can do two ways. You can do it like this, which is the inside. You can see I trimmed it up with a little bit of just a chrome pin on with the hand cranks and stuff like that, and then a little accent chrome on the top of the thing there. But the door panels, you can look on this side. This is the outside of the door panel, and there's window cranks on there. I'm guessing this is for some kind of race car version. It doesn't show this in the directions, but the door panels are two-sided. There's this side, which is flat, still has the window cranks, and then there's the regular stock interior one, which you can see over here. So I guess you could use either one you wanted, but since this car doesn't have a roll cage or anything, even though it's a race car, and maybe back then they didn't have roll cages, but you know, they actually, if you look and can see that there's 4 holes. And I'm guessing that in another version of this kit, maybe it comes with a roll cage, and then you use those door panels for that race car version. I don't know what version that is. Maybe I think there was a petty NASCAR version, and maybe that's what uses those parts. I'm not sure. So I will probably fill those holes from the bottom and then just touch them up or something, because there is no part to go in there. So being, you know, once I button up the car, you won't be able to see any of this. So I wanted to take a short video to show you. And that's it. This is the AMT Belvedere, which I finished. It's painted with Tamiya Red. I used aftermarket decals. These are from Fremont Specialties, I think. It came as a sheet, had different ones on it. So this had like 4 or 5 different themes on it for the decals, so this is one of them. This decal is just thrown in my parts box. It was a good kit. the spindles are very thin on the car, on the front and rear. The back tires, the tires are so wide, they're a slick, but they don't really fit in the wheel well. So they don't really sit up straight unless you fiddle with them. And it's difficult to really glue them in place. And I'm not sure that would solve the problem, because as soon as you set the car down, they're going to spread out again a little bit. To get the front wheel on the spindle, I had to super glue that, because the spindle piece that comes out is thinner than the hole in the rim in the back. So I did have to use super glue on those, and it's held so far. I haven't had any issues with that. It was the window glass was an unusual type of plastic. It was very soft, not hard plastic like we're used to on windows. I used Eileen's tacky glue to put them in. I use Eileen's, well, most of the time, because at least to get the window started. Because if you have a problem on the glass, you can wash that off with water in the sink. So just as a heads up to anybody that, like, you know, if you're new to modeling and you're stressed about getting fingerprints on your glass or getting whatever your stuff off your hands on the glass, but it's, you know, just if you're going to use glue, just use this. And then if you make a mistake, you can, like I say, go over to the sink and wash it right off and try again. It's a good alternative for regular glue. And even if you use that and tack the window in and it stays where it belongs, you can go back with model glue, whatever model glue favorite you have, and glue it in place for, you know, so it won't fall out later on. But I still recommend the Eileen's. This kit comes with a 440, which I used, dual carbs set up in it. And it does not have a stock exhaust. It only has the headers. So in that respect, I don't think you can make a stock vehicle out of it unless you wanted to fabricate an exhaust system at least. It does have the safety loop for the drive shaft. Other than that, it looks just almost stock underneath. I like that it has the tachometer and gauge here on the dash. The interior was painted with a dark red. It's a flat automotive color out of a can. And then I shot it with some Tamiya clear, just a little bit, not real heavy. I just wanted to give it like a vinyl look, but not make it really super shiny. And I've done that before, but it came out nice. I like the dashboard. I have a picture or a small video you probably saw it at the beginning that shows a better picture of the interior. I can show you the front. Of course, on the front I used black wash from Tamiya to wash the grill with, and then we have the turn signals in the bumper there. Turn this around, and then here's the back of the car. I only had a box of a picture of this. I bought this model in a bag. It only came with the end flap, and it had a picture of the car. So I didn't know what the back of the car looked like. I actually had to go online and look these cars up to find out what the back looks like, because I wasn't really sure from the directions on how to install these taillights. It wasn't very clear. And then I found out I needed to chrome this here, which is like a Gundam chrome pin. I sanded any emblems off of it. There were some decals, I believe, that show the emblems. I can actually show you the decals. These are the original decals that came with it, but there are some Belvedere names right here, so you could put those on the side if you wanted to. There's probably one on each side and one on the back. But I didn't use any of these decals because I made my own style race car. So I'll save these for something else maybe one day. But I didn't need any of those decals at all. It would have been nice to have some kind of something that said 440 to put on the valve covers. Would have been cool. And I thought about making some and printing them, but it wasn't worth the effort to me at this point. The car comes with wiper blades. I didn't use them because it's a race car. It actually comes with a wiper motor that goes around in there, but I didn't use that either. So being a race car, it's probably towed or trailered to a racetrack. I didn't think they would need wiper blades because they're not going to drive it on the street. And that's really about it. It was a good kit. I had fun with it. I mean, I think I only paid, since I bought it in a bag, I think I only paid like $5 or $10 for it. And I definitely got my money's worth out of it. So that's it. That's the build. It's finished. Probably would have been done, I'll show it to you. I left the hood off because it's a very tight fit. And I didn't want to break any parts off trying to get the hood off and on at the beginning of the video, because then I would break parts off, but it will fit. It does fit flush. There's a piece that goes on the hood right here. It runs along the bottom of the hood. So you have to glue that on, but you can see that it works okay. It fills the gap. I showed a picture at the beginning of this video, I believe, or I might tack it at the end, but when the sprue that had two of these hood scoops on it, two different kinds. It was a white plastic, but it wasn't the same shade of white as all the other white plastic sprues in the model. I don't know whether that means it was made somewhere else and then or in a different machine or what, but when I went to primer it or paint it, I got splotchy paint job on it, and a sloppy pattern where I put primer on it. So that tells me that the mold release was still on there. Now I washed the body and some other parts, but I did not wash the hoods. I forgot. So what I had to do is I had to sand this down, this hood scoop. I had to sand it down, and then I put it in a container, soaked it in purple cleaner overnight, just to make sure there's no residue on that at all. So once I did that, I sanded it down smooth with some sandpaper. Actually, I probably didn't use sandpaper. I'm probably using, one of these God hand, sanding stick things. So I got it smooth, and then I painted it, same Tamiya Red, and then it came out fine. But that mold release was nasty. I've seen that before on other models. It just depends. Sometimes just depends. I don't know where. Maybe it's the way it's cleaned in the machine, but in this case, because the sprue was a different color, I'm guessing that when it came out of the machine, this tiny sprue was only like this big. It was small. It only had two hood scoops on it. That's all that was on the tree. I'm guessing when that popped out of the machine, they weren't washing it, or for whatever reason, it didn't get washed. So that was a little hiccup. And that slowed me down. Little things like that slow down getting the job done, but not that there's a hurry or anything. I mean, it's just a model, but when you're into the zone and you have time and you're working on it, you want to make progress on it. So, and that's it. So I hope you liked it. You can subscribe, a thumbs up at least, if you like the car, if you like the model. And then you got any questions or you want to comment me, that'd be perfect. And we will catch you later.